Okay. Let's begin the briefing. Operator Eugene Solano. I'll be keeping you up to date. We've got news that an invading Alect Squadron has just taken off from the Puna Plains, en route for an attack on our position, Aubrey Base. From their perspective, this attack is the final nail in our collective coffin. After all, this is the only base that hasn't fallen under their control. I guess we can consider ourselves lucky. It looks like the enemy has gotten a little overconfident and sent only a small attack force. Griffith Squadron, prepare for launch immediately. Fly around the mountains and avoid enemy radar. Oh, I forgot. The enemy squadron consists mainly of bombers supported by several fighters. Please protect this base and destroy the enemy bombers. If everything goes well, we should be able to get the upper hand on the enemy in this area. All right, please prepare for launch. Let's pay back the Alect forces with at least one defeat. One final thing. During combat, my codename will be Crux. I will keep you up to date on the battle situation, so please pay attention to your radio.
Crux to Griffith Squadron. Maintain your present course. Do you see the enemy formation on your radar? Read you loud and clear. We're coming up on the enemy from behind, just like we planned. You can let the escorts go. Just make sure you take out all bombers.
We'll show them what we got. After all, we're alien pilots. Isn't that right, Captain?
Excuse me, Griffith 2. Please use code names during the mission. Understood. This new guy does everything by the book. Don't you think, Griffith 1? The enemy! They've snuck up from behind! What? Where the hell did they come from? What? Hold on a second. The city's being bombed! Unbelievable! There are no military facilities in that city! What are you doing? You shouldn't be wasting ordnance! Relax! We're just going to bomb some base in the sticks, right? There'll be more than enough ordnance left to finish the job. One bomber down. Another one has been shot down. Where the hell is our escort? Damn it! A missile! Help me! He's right behind me! You did it! Good job!
Hey, that better not be what I think it is.
It's an SWBM! Get out of here now!
What should we do? Where's it coming from? How far is it?
It's no use! We're too late! Griffiths 2! Come in, Griffiths 2! Griffiths 2! Griffiths 3! Anyone!
The mission was a success. The destruction of the enemy bombers will help keep an enemy invasion of Aubrey Base at bay. However, we also suffered serious losses. There's no way anyone could ever call this mission a success. I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything to save them. So that's the super weapon LASAF used to take over all of Aurelia in only 10 days. Who could have imagined that they possessed such destructive power?
Let this be a symbol of the fury borne by our countrymen towards Aurelia.
Such was the impassioned speech of LASAF's commander Diego Gaspar Navarro, as images of the Aurelian squadron's destruction over Cape Aubrey played in the background. A day later, his gravelly voice continued to echo through my hungover brain. October. 1 year after the cessation of the Democratic Republic of LASAF's civil war. After the Civil War, LASAF began to set their sights on their peaceful neighbor, the Federal Republic of Aurelia, claiming retribution for years of exploitation. The invasion suddenly began. With the ever-present threat of the cloaked airborne fortress Gleipnir looming overhead, there was little time to react to the few concerns raised about the validity of the war. Such was the speed at which all of Aurelia fell under LASAF's control. Well, not everything has fallen into their hands, but it's only a matter of time. Looking out over the capital, Gaius Tower is both home to LASAF's Central Command and the very symbol of its power. It was originally intended to be a symbol of Aurelia's peace. How ironic. As I looked up at the sun traveling the same old path across the sky, the rays burned my tired eyes. Damn it. I just wish I could finish covering this completely one-sided war and head back home. I'll never get used to being in the southern hemisphere with its backwards seasons.
The Gleipnir was last confirmed heading southeast across the Puna Plains. However, we lost all trace of it shortly after. Unfortunately, Aurelia's information network can provide no further details at this time. We'll just have to take what we can get. The airborne fortress Gleipnir nearly wiped out our entire attack force. Even with you, sir, our remaining aerial attack strength is severely limited. We no longer have the necessary manpower or supplies to pursue Gleipnir. In addition, there are reports of enemy forces gathering at Port Patterson. If we don't move soon, it will only be a matter of time before they attack from behind. Given the situation, we are left with only one plan of attack. On the Puna Plains lying between Aubrey Base and Port Patterson, LASAF forces have hastily constructed a resupply base to house the large quantity of supplies needed to support their troops. Attack Puna Base. Destroy all parked bombers and base facilities. Take away the enemy's ability to fight. If you succeed, we'll gain an important foothold for an attack on Port Patterson. And what's more, we'll gain the supplies we need to win this fight. Unless we succeed in taking this base, that's it for our supplies. Please don't fail, sir.
More miles to Puna Bay. Attack formation, please. I've got something on radar. It's the enemy. It's an attack. What kind of enemy? Air? Land? Everything's in chaos. What's going on? Just send up every available pilot. We've got to intercept them. A squadron of enemy fighters. What? Didn't our last attack finish off all remaining Aurelian air power? Look for yourself. None of our guys have a Southern Cross. This is Puna Base. We have an emergency. Come in. This is Port Patterson Command. What's the situation, Puna Base? We're taking enemy fire. Request reinforcements immediately. Request reinforcements immediately. It'll take some time. We need time to launch. Hold on until reinforcements arrive. Hurry up! If they don't get here soon, there'll be nothing left of this base but a pile of rubble.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up. Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Enemy bomber destroyed.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Retreat! Abandon the facility. Retreat! here. Escape! Escape? There aren't any flyable planes left. So you'd better... LASAF soldiers are abandoning the base. The mission was a success.
Retreating LASAF forces have abandoned Puna Base. The base, including all provisions stored there, now belong to us. Now we'll be able to provide backup support for our troops. The battle to retake Port Patterson is about to begin. Our scattered forces have come together for this battle. They're few in number, but we've managed to assemble a small ground force. However, the LASAF fleet continues to gather in Port Patterson, and the presence of the Transportation Corps has also been confirmed. Having lost Puna Base, it appears LASAF now intends to shuttle in troops and supplies overseas. If any more ships dock at Port Patterson, enemy strength will become more than our ground troops can handle. In order to prevent this, we need you to launch a preliminary strike on Port Patterson. Destroy all enemy supply vessels, landing ships, and freighters. In particular, try to keep as many enemy landing ships from entering the port as possible. Battle supplies must not reach the enemy. The number of enemy landing ships inside the port will be displayed on the MPG in the upper right-hand corner of your HUD. If the MPG reaches the max level, our forces will no longer be able to retake Port Patterson. This time, a substantial enemy counterattack is to be expected. It seems the loss of Puna Base has put them on guard. Please be careful.
Griffith 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Griffith 1, altitude restrictions canceled. Return to your mission. Good luck. Crux to Griffith 1. Check your MPG on the right side of the HUD. The MPG will display the number of landing ships from the port. Please pay careful attention to the MPG during this mission. So, you're Griffith 1, huh? I'm Major Berkman, Ground Force Commander. There are landing ships within the enemy fleet. We'll lose the battle if a battalion is allowed to make it ashore. Do not allow more than 3 landing ships to enter the port. We'll be risking our necks out here with you. Let's take back Port Patterson. Huh? Wait, I've got something on radar. Put the city on high alert. I don't want to see so much as a kitten out on those streets. Just make sure that bridge is raised. AA guns destroyed. How many ships are still operational? Enemy freighter destroyed.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Good kill. You'll be able to acquire supplies after entering the port. Just head for the bridge. Watch the bow on the port side.
All right, I dodged it.
Bridge control room to base command. Commence raising of the bridge.
I'll break it up.
Don't crash into our allied ship. I'm not gonna let them sink us here. Missile off target. Enemy planes approaching. Somebody help us! Enemy freighter destroyed.
Missile defeated. Evasive maneuver successful.
I see them. Moving to intercept.
I can't hold on. You can't. Enemy approaching from starboard side.
Enemy ship destroyed.
Everybody, hard to port.
Maintain current formation. All guns fire artillery barrage. Don't let the enemy get close. Engine room, give us more speed. Watch the bow on the port side.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Push for standoff damage control.
So these are the guys who just put a base. We'll get a medal for taking them down.
We're sinking! We're sinking! All hands, abandon ship!
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Good kill!
Just a few missiles left in reserve.
AA guns destroyed. Enemy planes approaching. Somebody help us! Enemy ship destroyed.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Enemy approaching from starboard side.
We've succeeded in destroying the enemy fleet gathered in Port Patterson. Our ground troops scored a major victory by using the chaos caused by our attack to storm in and secure the port. We freed Port Patterson from the hands of the enemy. It's still kind of hard to believe.
The emblem of the Southern Cross. It was on that very day that the aircraft bearing the mark of the Southern Hemisphere brought about the defeat of Laysath forces. But the story barely made the news, and the army showed no apparent reaction. Almost nightly, Laysath's commanding officer, Diego Gaspar Navarro, plays host to grand banquets within Gaius Tower. This evening, he is once again proudly trumpeting the glory of his airborne fortress. I've heard the speech so many times, it feels like I wrote it. Which, in a way, is a good thing, because it lets me concentrate on enjoying the food instead. As I gazed out the window at the night sky, I felt as if even the phases of the moon were somehow at odds with those of the Northern Hemisphere. The words of a fellow reporter, who fancied himself a connoisseur of fine wine, really got me thinking about the price of the glass of wine in my hand. One glass of it is roughly equivalent to several years of a Laysathian citizen's salary. Haven't the long years of civil war left Laysath an impoverished and war-torn nation? Whatever the case, much is unclear about the flow of money in Laysath. Ever since I arrived here, I've only covered stories the military had approved. However, this particular mystery just might be worth investigating on my own. The idea was nothing more than the product of an idle mind. At least at the time.
Okay, let's get started with a report of the situation. I think our best option under the circumstances would be to head towards Santa Elva. Santa Elva is a strategic location that we have to pass through to get to the capital, Griswold. However, there are several other strategic points on the way to Santa Elva. Which points you choose and in what order you do so is up to you. It looks like your decisions will affect the course of this battle. I know it's an immense responsibility, but there's no one else to count on. We're relying on you to get us through this. It appears that the enemy's Miller unit is gathering at Kings Hill. It looks like they're trying to take back Port Patterson. I wonder what they're up to. Next, we have reports that the Allied Davis unit is cut off at Stand Canyon. Gleipnir took off from Puna Base and is currently standing by at Terminus Island. With the long strike range of the Gleipnir, there's not much our forces can do. It appears that the enemy is moving towards Stand Canyon to eliminate our remaining forces. We'll need those remaining forces in our attack on Santa Elva, so I think we should probably send help. If left alone, they'll be helpless against the aerial fortress, just like what happened to us at Cape Aubrey. Also, Santa Elva is a key location for the enemy, and I think they'll concentrate their forces there. We'll have major problems if they send in their aerial fortress. I'll give you more details once you decide on a route. Please tell me which route you plan to take. Laysath's Miller unit is meeting up at Kings Hill. Based on the sheer strength of the enemy force an offensive aimed at retaking Port Patterson appears imminent. A partially completed highway runs directly from Kings Hill straight into the heart of Port Patterson. The enemy intends to use this highway to swiftly spearhead its way through our defenses. Their ground forces must be destroyed if Port Patterson is to remain ours. Our soldiers are in a precarious position. If they are attacked now, they will have no choice but to abandon the port. One more thing. On the highway leading to Port Patterson, there is a tunnel. If an enemy tank makes it to the tunnel, it will be beyond the reach of any air assault. If even one enemy tank enters the tunnel, our mission will fail. Please make sure this doesn't happen.
The enemy is using a partially built highway to cover their movement. The location is well concealed, making it impossible to identify from the air. Wait for enemy vehicles to leave the rendezvous point, then strike.
Protect the tunnel entrance at all costs. If an enemy gets inside, it's all over.
Increase out.
Missile on target! Help me! He's right behind me! Good kill! Go, 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 go! There's still time! Crush anyone in your way! All troops head for the tunnel! Just get one vehicle into the tunnel. They can't follow you once you're inside. Evasive maneuver successful. All right, I dodged it.
weapons fire running low.
Damn it, he's here! The Southern Cross just flew by! Hurry! Go, go, go! He's still glommed on! I'm in, disengaging!
No special weapons fire remaining.
Enemy forces have been eliminated. The mission was a success.
We've succeeded in preventing the Miller unit from invading Port Patterson. Laysath forces are in retreat. Let's hope they've learned their lesson and think twice before trying to take Port Patterson again. Allied ground forces are stranded at Stand Canyon. They are members of the Davis unit who were en route to an assault on Santa Elva when they were cut off from the main force. The Santa Elva offensive could use their support, and we can hardly leave them for dead. However, Laysath has already begun mobilizing a search and destroy operation. It's only a matter of time before the Davis unit is wiped out. I think we should launch a strike now and save as many of our troops as we can. Although the area of attack is within range of Gleipnir's SWBM, the very same weapon that devastated our squadron. By implementing shielding and flying low through the canyon, it should be possible to avoid an attack by the SWBM. In the event that Gleipnir should attack, stay below the rim of the canyon, or less than 2,400 feet.
This is the Davis unit. Is backup on its way? Alect Squadron is on the way right now. Try your best to hold out until they arrive. Understood. No problem. We can still put up a fight. Casualties to the Davis unit will be displayed on your MPG. The Davis unit will be defeated when the gauge reaches max. Here they come! Prepare to fire! The canyon narrows near the bridge. Please, be careful. Keep the enemy attack helicopters away from the Allied ground forces. They don't stand a chance against the enemy's anti-tank missiles. Show what we're made of! Enemy aircraft sighted. Likely the backup for the ground forces. Don't sweat it! We've got the glacier covering us! What the? The Southern Cross was able to fly a fighter through this narrow space? They've come! Help has come! This is the Davis unit. The enemy is converging on our position. Please, hurry!
He took care of the enemy in no time!
Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 20 seconds. Stay below 2,400 feet. Hurry!
Enemy attack! Return fire!
Report damage status. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Is everything alright? You're still airborne, right? I'm sorry. I just can't get the events of the previous SWBM attack out of my head. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Can you make out the enemy base? This place used to be an Aurelian mining facility.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
It looks like they've made their base on the ruins. Stay inside the canyon or you'll get hit by the shockwave. You'd be a fool to be shot down by your own weapon. Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Watch out for the guys above us! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Griffith, warning, back! Destruction of target confirmed. Commencing evacuation of Davis unit.
We've succeeded in rescuing the Davis unit from the enemy onslaught. The men express their gratitude for rescuing them, sir. This victory has also allowed us to begin formalizing a strategy for the recapture of Santa Elva. The Gleipnir has moved from Terminus Island to Santa Elva. They are making preparations to defend the city as we speak. With the loss of Stand Canyon, defending Santa Elva probably took priority over using the SWBM to support their troops. Terminus Island is home to both vital Aurelian oil fields and the Gleipnir's hangar. Intelligence has informed us that an Aurelian scientist is being held captive within this facility. It's highly likely that he has obtained invaluable information on the Gleipnir, and more importantly, he is a fellow Aurelian who must be rescued. The Allied submarine Naiad will be used in his rescue. In order to draw the enemy's attention from the Naiad, the Allied fleet will engage in a diversionary operation. Our duty will be to protect the fleet. The enemy is expected to launch anti-submarine aircraft. Although our main objective is to protect the diversionary fleet, we must also ensure the safety of the Naiad. If you confront any anti-submarine aircraft, take them out as soon as possible.
To all Allied forces, this is the Naiad. We will be approaching the target shortly. Make sure to draw the enemy's attention your way. This is the cruiser Colossus. Understood. We'll make sure they know we're here. Pilots up above, show us your best. We read you loud and clear. Crux to Griffith 1. Damage to the Allied fleet will be displayed on the MPG. The Naiad will likely be discovered if the diversionary fleet has to pull out. Make sure they survive this mission. Can't lose them! He's shooting! Help me! He's right behind me! All ships capable of attack, follow us! Show them what our anti-aircraft defenses are capable of. Enemy approaching from starboard side. Infiltration unit is preparing to enter the facility. This is the infiltration unit. We'll bring you back something nice, so don't leave without us. It looks like we've got enemy anti-submarine aircraft. The Naiad's going to be pinned down even if they secure the target. Take care of those aircraft as soon as possible. This is the Naiad. Take care of those birds in the sky. All right, I dodged it.
Stalling. Increase out.
Infiltration unit! We've secured the target! Returning now!
This is the Naiad. We have secured the target and are commencing extraction. Good job! All right, now just get out of there! What the? This is the Naiad. Hull breached. We've struck a mine. Naiad, are you all right? What's the damage report? The diving control system and rudder are out. Controls are barely responding. We're surfacing. The Naiad has surfaced.
Of all the times! We're getting new readings on radar. A large number of aircraft have taken off from a nearby enemy base. Naiad! Maintain your present course! You've got to make it out of there! It's no use! An iceberg is blocking their path! All pilots, do something about that iceberg! The Naiad is stuck on a collision course! Clark to Griffith Squadron. The distance between the Naiad and the iceberg will be displayed on the MPD. Destroy the iceberg before the Naiad collides with it. Is it even possible to destroy something that big? I guess I'll have to take your word for it. Help me! He's right behind me! I can't get him off me! The Naiad is taking enemy fire. Please hurry and get rid of those aircraft. Enemy approaching from starboard side. This is the Naiad. We're taking fire from enemy aircraft. We can't dive. Help us out. This is the Naiad. We've taken massive damage. Hurry up and do something about those planes in the sky. Evasive maneuver successful. Target hit.
special weapon fire button low. No special weapon fire remaining.
This is a Naiad! Take care of that iceberg, Ned! We're gonna collide! I'll break it up! This is a Naiad. Destruction of iceberg confirmed. He's discovered until we exit the battle zone. Help me! He's right behind me!
Sector 2 missiles domestically served. Falling. Increase out.
This is the Naiad! We've made it to the combat zone border! Thanks! We couldn't have done it without you!
The mission was a success. The Naiad has returned to port safe and sound. Thanks to the recon data from the Naiad, we've started to make some sense of the Gleipnir stealth system. It'll take some time to fully analyze the data, but it looks like there might be a way to partially shut down the stealth system. This information may help us gain the upper hand in our battle against the Gleipnir. Allied ground forces have finished preparations for an assault on Santa Elva. They're the same troops we rescued from Stand Canyon. The mission will be to recapture Santa Elva, a vital transportation route. If we succeed in retaking the city, our capital Griswold will be within reach. Analysis of the SWBM attack at Cape Aubrey has shown that the shock wave of the missile dissipates before reaching ground level. Therefore, an assault by our ground forces has a much higher probability of succeeding. The mission can commence at any time. The Gleipnir has troubled Aurelia long enough. The time has come to drive it out.
Griffith 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Griffith 1, altitude restrictions canceled. Return to your mission. Good luck.
This is reconnaissance. Something's wrong. The enemy is nowhere to be found. No sign of the Gleipnir. Nothing? That's impossible. Damn, Layseth. What are they up to? What's that sound? Look! It's the Gleipnir! Don't just stand there! Attack! Target the Gleipnir! Go ahead, cannon fire! Hit it with everything we've got! The SWBM can't reach us here, but watch out for conventional ordnance. Look! The disc on the bottom is starting to blow! What's he doing? The vehicles below the Gleipnir were just vaporized. What on earth is that? That's the Gleipnir!
Our ground forces are strong enough to handle it on their own? I don't think so. I can't believe they've made such a terrifying weapon. Sir, Griffith 1, it appears the enemy has some kind of new super weapon. If the Allied ground forces are defeated, we won't be able to maintain our military presence. Casualties to the Allied ground forces will be displayed on your MPG. Protect them and keep the gauge from reaching max.
All ground forces have withdrawn from Santa Elva.
Understood. Now we can destroy those vile Aurelians with our shock cannon.
Missile defeated.
It's too dangerous below the Gleipnir. Gain altitude as soon as you see any sign that it's about to fire.
All right! Their cover's blown!
We're sitting ducks up here. Can't somebody do something?
It's no use!
Damn it. It's time to use an SWBM. I don't care if we sustain a little damage. I want that Southern Cross blown out of the sky.
Roger, SWBM standing by. They'll be ready to launch shortly.
Pest, it's time you met your maker. The Gleipnir is launched an SWBM. We think it's the same as the one used at Cape Aubrey. It's too dangerous to fly at high altitude. Try to stay lower than the Gleipnir. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Enemy up ahead!
Help me! He's right behind me!
Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Evasive maneuver successful. Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Yes! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Alright, I dodged it. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Damn it, I can't hit him. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched. Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Airborne Fortress missile launched.
Special weapons fire running low.
Estimated time to impact, 15 seconds. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact!
All SWBM launching ports have been destroyed! Damn it! Smoke's pouring into the bridge! Engine 6 is on fire!
It's descending towards the city. Oh no! They intend to use the shot cannon on the city! Griffith 1, countdown to shot cannon fire will be displayed on your MPG. Destroy the shot cannon before it fires. All surviving ground forces, head for the riverbank! We're gonna fill that beast full of lead! The lives of thousands are at stake. You must destroy the cannon.
No special weapons fire remaining.
The airborne fortress is 10 miles from the city. The Gleipnir is finished.
The Gleipnir has changed course and is moving away from the capital. The controls won't respond. Come on, just a little more. If we can hold together long enough. Please crash into the river. There are too many civilians here in Santa Elva. I will deliver one final blow to the enemy as commander of the Gleipnir. Am I to be denied even that? We did it. The Gleipnir's falling. The Gleipnir is crashing!
We've succeeded in destroying the Gleipnir, as well as taking back Santa Elva. The Santa Elva victory is fantastic news. But even more so, the defeat of the Gleipnir is sure to boost morale and give us a strategic advantage in this war. Luck was certainly on our side, though. With all of that raining debris, it's amazing the city sustained so little damage.
Unthinkable! The chatter of the nightly parties fell into silence. In place of the sumptuous banquet, weapons to protect the capital were rolled in. Griswold is in turmoil over the shocking news, but who would have thought that underneath the chaos lay an even greater story? Aurelia's exploitation of Leysath was all a ruse. In fact, Aurelia had been Leysath's largest benefactor in aid. The truth remained hidden from the public, while any aid meant for food was spent on arms. Why did this happen? Why was a lavish party held to boast the performance of their newest weapon? The trail of money surrounding Diego Navarro would lead me to the answer. Diego Navarro is not only Leysath's commanding officer, but also controls their arms industry. He has used continued conflict as a means to amass an enormous fortune. This war was conceived as a replacement for the Civil War to further increase arms sales. I can't help but wonder how much of this truth the soldiers risking their lives for Leysath really know. The classified documents contained much more than just information on the airborne fortress. The transfer of financial revenue and commodities were also recorded in great detail. What does all of this have to do with Leysath's commanding officer Diego Navarro? Even after all that's happened, why does he still seem so naturally at ease? I've unwittingly found myself fearing for the safety of the Southern Cross.
All right, let me brief you on the main locations on the route to Griswold. Sir, please choose a route. First, remnant enemy soldiers are regrouping at the Kalana Steps and are planning an attack on Santa Elva. They currently aren't a threat, but we're curious as to what they're planning. I guess we're not much different from them in size or strength. The enemy Special Forces Skilla unit has set up camp at Sachana Air Base. They're not a squad you want to take on directly, but they're currently busy preparing to send reinforcements to the Kalana Steppes. This might be the perfect time to catch them off guard. It appears that LASAF forces are shipping supplies to a large-scale manufacturing plant in Montebriz. It seems that they're manufacturing something, but there is a large radar facility close by on Mount Nevera. The Nevera jammer is located there, and we're unable to monitor their movements. The jamming extends as far as Griswold, so we need to do something about it. Although we really need to find out what's going on at Montebriz as well. Our capital is not far ahead. However, Griswold is heavily fortified and protected by the Mezim cannon. Fierce resistance is expected, but we must pull together and take back Griswold. We have obtained information that enemy stragglers from Santa Elva are gathering on the Kalana Steppes. Unless we move now, we risk the enemy launching another incursion on Santa Elva. It appears that they are also expecting reinforcements and supplies from the Sachana Air Base to the northeast. If the remnant forces and the reinforcements are allowed to regroup, they could pose a problem. We need to attack now, while they are defenseless, and take them out of the battle for good.
The target enemy destruction ratio will be displayed on your MPG. Continue to destroy enemy targets until the number reaches 0. Damn it, I'm not gonna die here!
What a desolate place.
Just wait a little longer. Reinforcements will be here before long with fresh supplies. Then we should be able to stick it to those Aurelians again! The enemy aircraft!
The Southern Cross? Isn't that the guy who destroyed the Glacier? Nemesis.
So you've just been waiting until now to strike. Our helicopters don't stand a chance against their fighters. Damn. I missed! The tanks are in the way! Stop messing around! We need to get to the main unit! Sam destroyed! Forget about the counterattack. Concentrate on staying alive. Enemy aircraft destroyed. come from? What? What's going on? I didn't hear anything about enemy reinforcements. I'm sorry, they're using stealth. I didn't see them on radar. Look, our guys. Reinforcements from Satana Air Base have come. We're saved. Kick some ass. Take out Nemesis. Your MPG has increased due to enemy reinforcements.
Special weapon fire running low. Aircraft damage.
Return fire! Shoot! Griffin 1 bagged another one! Hurry, fire!
No special weapon fire remaining.
Here they come! Prepare to fire! Damn it! Damn it! That bastard! Enemy plane, shut down! Good kill! Clark to Griffith Squadron. The mission was a success. Good job, Griffith 1.
The concentration of enemy troops on the Kalana steppes has been eliminated, allowing us to concentrate on Santa Elva. We can now freely continue our advance without having to constantly watch our flank. I apologize for letting enemy reinforcements get the drop on you. I should have been paying more attention to their movements. It won't happen again. That is all. The Skilla unit has left Satana Air Base for Mount Nevera. Unfortunately, radar interference has prevented us from pinpointing their exact location. But we believe they have abandoned the Kalana steppes to protect the Nevera jammer. In order to ensure our bid to capture the capital is a success, we need to first take back Satana Air Base. Satana Air Base is our country's largest air base. The enemy incurred heavy losses during the previous battle at Kalana Steppes, resulting in a near-complete loss of air power in this area. However, enemy ground troops have already begun to form a formidable intercept force in their stead. The surrounding woods would put our ground troops at a distinct disadvantage, so a helicopter unit will be used to carry them in. Your mission, sir, will be to protect the helicopter unit until they can safely land at the target. Intelligence reports that enemy troops trained in guerrilla warfare and familiar with the terrain are holding this point. Infrared sensors have been attached to the HUD to help locate enemies hiding in the forest. The heat signature from an enemy's weapon will appear on the HUD whenever they fire. Use this chance to lock onto the target. Draw enemy fire and take out as many enemy positions as possible to ensure the safety of the helicopter unit.
So you're the famous Griffith Squadron. I've heard the stories. We're counting on you. All right, we're just going to concentrate on making it to the base. We won't be able to handle the enemies hiding in the forest, so we're leaving them up to you. Damage to the helicopter unit will be displayed on the MPG. Keep an eye on it. We won't be able to take the base without them, so make sure they get there intact. them before they reach the base!
Warning. The enemy's launch continues.
I missed!
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Alright, I dodged it!
Aircraft damaged.
Shit! Missile defeated! The helicopter unit has landed at the base. The mission was a success. The helicopter unit is securing the base. Please stand by until they've finished. Griffith 1, begin landing checks. You're clear to land. Three miles to touchdown. 2 miles to touchdown. 1 mile to touchdown. You're coming in too fast. Slow down. Perfect, sir. Stand by and prepare for your next sortie.
The helicopter unit has brought Sachana Air Base under their control. The mission is a success. Air power from the base will be a vital asset, especially in the battle to retake Griswold. I have the feeling the day of our capital's liberation is not far off. Lasath has taken advantage of Mount Nevera's height and built a large-scale jamming station known as the Nevera Jammer, with enough power to effectively blanket the capital and all surrounding areas. The station is also blocking our ability to observe enemy activity in Montebrise. Responsibility for taking care of the jamming station before it further interferes with the war effort has fallen into our hands. An array of high-performance SAMs and AA guns provide the Nevera Jammer with a formidable defense. The high-performance SAMs are difficult to avoid, even for the most advanced aircraft. You're done for the second you fly within range. ECM pods are of no use here either. The high-performance AA guns are also capable of shooting bombs and even long-range missiles out of the sky. We must first deal with this threat before we can move in for an attack on the jamming facility itself. Therefore, we must destroy the electric-powered transmitter that is providing them with energy. The location of this transmitter remains unknown, but a string of old power lines on Mount Nevera may just point the way. There is one complication. Intelligence reports that the elite Skilla unit is stationed here. Stay alert and don't let them catch you off guard. The transmitter's power output will be displayed on your HUD. Make sure the power output is at 0 before moving in to attack the jammer.
Pilots, check your plane and prepare for refueling. 1 mile to refueling craft. You're coming in too fast. Slow down. 100 yards to go. Griffith 1, maintain your current flight path. Perfect, sir. Commencing refueling. means there'll be no challenge left to follow. Double check your reassess. Don't just target it. Hey, the electrical power transmission has stopped. The defense system is out of commission. That's it for them. The facility that he just defense can't help them now. All that's left is to take care of the jamming facility, and the airways will be clear. One, are you alright? Transmission is coming in loud and clear. The facility was successfully destroyed.
We've destroyed the Nevera jammer and freed up the airwaves. Now we have a clear view of Griswold and Montebreeze. We've succeeded in ending radar interference from Mount Nevera. This has allowed us to get a clear picture of Montebreeze. LASAF forces have produced a new type of weapon and are making preparations to transport it to Griswold. Although the advance unit has already reached the capital, there's still time to stop the backup units. Citizen morale is at an all-time high, with liberation corps forming throughout the country, all thanks to your heroic deeds, sir. Our beloved Aurelia, shattered by the LASAF assault, is struggling to once again become one. We must not let them down. With the destruction of the Nevera jammer, we have been able to ascertain the extent of enemy action here in Montebreeze. This area is littered with industrial complexes which LASAF appears to have refitted as weapons plants to manufacture something of great importance. Transport units have also shown a lot of recent activity. When the Nevera jammer was destroyed, they abandoned the operation, taking everything with them. It seems that they have also rigged the factories with explosives in order to hide what went on there. There is no doubt that whatever they made, it was important. We must shoot down all transport aircraft and put an end to whatever the enemy is plotting.
The number of remaining transport aircraft will be displayed on your HUD. Make sure you destroy them all.
Is that it for the cargo? All right, let's get out of here.
The enemy isn't far from here.
Are the factory explosives set?
No problem. Landmines and explosives set.
Update. An uprising of Aurelian citizens has broken out nearby.
We have reports that they are en route to these factories to acquire weapons. Civilians on a battlefield? Bunch of fools. We must retreat to our northeast area of operation as soon as possible. Aurelian fighters are coming! Move it! Aircraft destroyed. We can't let them stop us. Prepare the device. Inform the others. What the hell was that? Be careful. They got one hell of a weapon stashed on board.
No special weapon fire remaining.
Wow, he finished most of the job by himself. Crush, that's all of them, right? Affirmative. The mission was a success. Excuse me, hold on a second. What's wrong? Did something happen? Bad news. The Liberation Corps train is heading for the factories.
Testing. Soldiers of Lasath, can you hear us? We are the Aurelian Liberation Corps. You've had your way long enough. Prepare to see just how dangerous we Aurelians can be. Danger! Withdraw immediately! Can you hear me? Leave the area immediately! Hey, do you think they can hear us? There's no response at all. I'm hacked into the Army's communications. You gotta switch to incoming transmissions or you'll never pick up anything. Well, it doesn't really matter, as long as they hear us. All right, we're heading for the factories. We'll steal additional weapons before heading for the capital. Yeah!
Stop the train! The factories are rigged with explosives! Clark to Alect Squadron. The Liberation Corps doesn't know the factories are rigged with explosives. The distance from the nearest factory to the Liberation Corps will be displayed on your MPG. Protect the Liberation Corps. Destroy the factories along the railway before the train gets too close. One of ours went down! Onward! Onward! We'll steal Lasath's weapons and use them to take back Griswold! We'll show Lasath just how pissed we really are! Warning! Stop the train and leave the area! Do you read me? Stop the train! Just as I thought, it's no use, they can't hear us! Yahoo! is one of our guys, isn't it? Hey! Give us a lift, will ya? All of our weapons are going to be destroyed too! Can't this thing go any faster? Hit the gas! We gotta get to one of those factories before they're all destroyed! Griffith 1, things have just gotten worse. The Liberation Corps train is picking up speed! Alright, I dodged it! Right behind me! One of our planes was hit! Damn it! A missile!
Increase out.
Stop the train and leave the area! Do you read me? Stop the train! Warning! Stop the train and leave the area! Do you read me? Stop the train!
Just a few missiles left in reserve. loud. Call up.
Clutch to Griffith 1. All explosives have been eliminated. Take a well-deserved breather.
They were trying to escape with MBSRs. Apparently, they were used to intensify the meson cannon's beam. Unfortunately, several units have already been delivered. Thankfully, we intervened before the rest could be used. In any case, the Aurelian Liberation Corps really took me by surprise. They say too much knowledge can be a dangerous thing, and boy were they right. Still, I'm just glad they made it through without any casualties. Our mission is the liberation of Griswold. I'll explain the details. Griswold is protected by the Atmos Ring powered meson cannon. Our troops will not be able to approach the city because of the MBSRs brought in from Monte Breeze. Our only hope is to send a small squadron of fighters in for a surprise attack and take out the cannon. Fortunately, the enemy has put all of their faith in the cannon and has yet to deploy ground troops. Destroy the meson cannon and the fighters protecting it, and the city is ours. The capital's liberation is finally within our grasp. Sir, please decide the course of action.
Make them out now, the Atmos Ring and the Gaius Tower.
Makes me sick. Look at them, acting like they own the place.
Ninox 2, you're too far ahead. Please stay on alert.
Damn it, we're so close. If it weren't for that cannon, we'd be in already.
Wait, I'm getting readings from the meson cannon. Ninox 2's been shut down.
Meson cannon's force is multiplied by the MBSRs.
What on earth is that? There's no way we can get any closer than this. Watch out, that thing's a monster. The power of the MBSR enhanced meson cannon far exceeds anything we ever imagined. Meson cannon. 8 turrets remaining. Here he comes. Dodge this. Damn, the beam doesn't reach any further than the other road. Hurry and land havoc. He's here. He's innocent. Is he for real? Doesn't he know what this beam can do? Meson cannon. 7 turrets remaining. Number 1 cannon destroyed. He's too fast. Tracking can't keep up. Griffith 1, the beam's firing time has lengthened. With fewer cannons, there's more energy for each burst. Meson cannon, 4 remaining. That's it, only a few left. Clutch to Griffith 1. All alien pilots, listen up. Meson cannon can't track targets moving faster than 600 miles per hour. Shoot this battle. Meson cannon, 3 remaining. Meson cannon, 2 remaining. Meson cannon, 1 remaining. confirmed. Clear out remaining enemy aircraft.
All right, I dodged it.
Where's backup? Missile off target! Evasive maneuver successful. Help me! He's right behind me! AA guns destroyed. Target hit. I can't get him off me!
All right, I dodged it.
Enemy reserves have arrived. Alect Squadron, stay sharp. SAM destroyed.
Missile defeated. I'm hit. Disengaging.
Missile off target!
He avoided my missile. What's he got? Eyes in the back of his head?
Griffith 1 bagged another one!
Evasive maneuver successful.
Help me! He's right behind me!
How many of our guys have we lost to him?
The mezzanine beam disappeared.
Did we finally get it?
Griffiths 1, we've confirmed the beam is out of commission. Suppression forces have begun their advance.
Soldiers of Aurelia, do you read me? This is the suppression force. We are currently engaging the enemy in the vicinity of Gaia's Tower. Is what I wish I could tell you. But there's no one here! Gaia's Tower is ours!
Griffith 1, sir. Did you hear this, sir? We did it.
Griswold's been liberated. With the loss of their central command, Laysaf forces have begun to pull out of Aurelia. The streets of Griswold are overflowing with citizens celebrating the defeat of the Laysaf oppressors. Even soldiers have joined in the celebration. Sir, the people won't soon forget your brave actions that led us here. We've done it, sir.
With each passing day, news of new Aurelian victories came pouring in. The Southern Cross's action spurred the surviving Aurelian troops to battle. Commanding Officer Diego Navarro has retreated and is currently being pursued by Special Forces. No one would have guessed that a ragtag band of soldiers smaller than a single unit could have put up such fierce resistance. December 10th, several days after the liberation of Griswold, I made my way towards one of the mini-cities busy recovering from the ravages of the war. Despite my usual misgivings, I could feel myself getting excited at the prospect of meeting the Southern Cross. But when I reached the base, I saw his emblem already gleaming in the skies above. I had heard that today was their first break in a while, but something must have changed that. I merely watched as the jet's contrail stretched far off into the distant sky. Suddenly, I was overcome by a strong sense of dread. The misappropriated financial and material resources were on a scale much greater than the airborne fortress alone could account for. Would the weapon at Griswold prove to be the missing piece to the puzzle?
I have an updated situation report. The forces hunting Lesath Commander Diego Navarro have been decimated at the Danern Straits. It appears that Lesath has developed a new type of attack aircraft. I can't believe they had a working prototype from the aerial fortress. Sorry, back to the report. The new attack aircraft is named Fenrir, according to Lesath reports. From the satellite intel gathered, it appears that the aircraft took off from Sentry Island. We received information from intelligence services that there appears to be a factory on the island. There are 2 routes to Sentry Island. First, Lesath has a squadron of ace pilots, the Alect Squadron, situated near the Danern Straits. They are currently headed for Sentry Island. If a pilot of that caliber were to pilot the new craft, we would have a lot of trouble on our hands. Another route is Cobalt Cave, the location of enemy research facilities. It is believed that they are preparing to move some sort of weapon. We don't know the details, but it is most likely a weapon to mount to Fenrir. The ace pilots and the unknown weapon are both major concerns, but we can only deal with one of these threats. You must stop whatever Lesath has planned. You are about to enter Lesath territory. We don't have much intel to go on, but you need to decide how to proceed. Intelligence has confirmed the outline of a squadron of Lesath fighters bound for Archelon Fortress. A sympathizer from within the enemy has informed us that the squadron is none other than Lesath's elite, Alect Squadron. If they were to capture Archelon Fortress's Fenrir, one can only imagine the devastation they would cause. The Danern Straits could provide us with a chance to intercept them before they reach the fortress. Your mission will be to take on this elite air unit. You must destroy them all.
Multiple fighters coming in head-on. You should see an enemy squadron shortly. This is Falcon 1. I always wanted to fly with you. My son's a big fan of yours. Well, me too. The enemies come. There's so many of them. In the 10 years I've been flying, I've never been in such a massive dogfight. Listen up, everybody. Don't fall behind the Southern Cross. Alect Squadron's here. Don't let them near Archelon Fortress. Destroy them all. Enemy numbers are decreasing. He's still alive? It can't be. I've got a lock on Nemesis. Alect 4, converge with Alect 1. We'll drop Nemesis in the crossfire. That was a decoy. The real one's on your tail. The Southern Cross has got a beat on the Alect Squadron. All right, I dodged it. I can't get him off me. Help me! He's right behind me!
Destruction of the Alect Squadron confirmed. The mission was a success. Pilots, check your plane and prepare for refueling. You're coming in too fast. Slow down. 1 mile to refueling craft. 500 yards to go. 100 yards to go. Griffith 1, maintain your current flight path. Perfect, sir. Commencing refueling.
We've succeeded in stopping the Alect unit before they could reach Archelon Fortress. It was an extremely dangerous mission, but we had to stop them from getting behind the controls of Fenrir. This was a very important victory for us. Great work. The enemy transportation corps has moved from Cobalt Cave to Archelon Fortress. Our sources have confirmed our suspicions that the cargo was indeed an HPM. It'll most likely be used to defend Archelon Fortress. The new weapon under development at Cobalt Cave has been relocated to Archelon Fortress. We have learned that it's an HPM to be mounted to Fenrir. The weapon's targeting system relies on orbiting satellites, so we should be able to reduce the weapon's accuracy by disabling the satellite ground control center at Cobalt Cave. With the bulk of the enemy forces shifted to Archelon Fortress, the enemy poses little threat at Cobalt Cave. However, with the threat that Fenrir poses, we must take this opportunity to minimize its capabilities. Destroy all of the satellite antennas at Cobalt Cave.
Those things you see on top of the island are satellite control antennas. You're going to have to destroy each and every one of them.
He's here! Keep Nemesis away from the antennas! If the antennas are destroyed, the new weapon's performance will suffer! Show them what our anti-aircraft defenses are capable of. How many ships are still operational? Help me! He's right behind me! Moving to intercept. I can see a cave on the side of the island. It's pretty big. Wonder what it is. Destruction of all antennas confirmed. The mission was a success. Excuse me, Griffith-1, hold on. According to a synthesizer on the inside, destroying the antennas alone won't be enough. The underground control facility must also be destroyed. However, it's too deep for long-range missiles to connect. You need to fly into the cave on the side of the island and take out the control facility. I know it's an impossible request, but we need you to take out that facility. Help me! He's right behind me! Can't take him! Can't run! All right, I dodged it! Evasive maneuver successful. I can't get him off me! Enemy aircraft destroyed. I'll break it up! He fell for it! Surface and hit him with a missile! Good job! We've got him on the run! Don't let him near the control room! Shoot him down low! What? He's managed to fly all the way in here? What's with this guy? Come on, is that all you've got? Just try and sink us, bastard!
Special weapon fire running low.
All right, Griffith won! They're over there! Fire! What about if I down? map!
Warning. The enemy's launched artillery. Aircraft damage.
The submarine Dryas has been sunk! Submarine Triton hit. Damage critical. It's no good. We're taking on water. Withdraw from the area.
Your altitude is too low. Pull up.
Destruction of control facility confirmed. To fly through that small space and still successfully complete the mission. Amazing! That was incredible, sir. I mean, Griffith 1.
All satellite control centers and antennas have been destroyed. This should weaken Fenrir's microwave weapon. Archelon Fortress is the final obstacle standing between us and total victory, sir. We've advanced within striking distance of Archelon Fortress. Fenrir, the whole reason they started this war is being made right here on this base. It's our duty to wipe this base clear off the map. The HPM has been transported to Archelon Fortress from Cobalt Cave, and it appears it has already been fitted to Fenrir. The weapon works by emitting microwaves from both Fenrir and Archelon Fortress to create an overlapping field effect, detonating all fuel caught in between. Fly too slow for too long, and you'll be tracked by the targeting system. If you don't escape quickly, your fuel tank will explode. Thankfully, the targeting system has been impaired by the destruction of the satellite targeting facility at Cobalt Cave. Even with the targeting system impaired, the HPM still poses a threat. Be careful. We've also received intel that the Archelon Fortress is equipped with the same type of shock cannon employed on the Gleipnir. Sir, we've succeeded in freeing Aurelia. The war should have already been over for us. But someone has to put an end to this. Just make sure you come back alive.
As I wrote down the words that would reveal the truth to the world, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. It said that the only true winners in any war are those who achieve what they intended. Diego Navarro had left Aurelia's capital in defeat, yet his goal of increasing arms exports had been achieved. It seemed as though he may be the true victor in this war. After returning to his homeland, it appears that he now plans to unveil the ultimate weapon before his countrymen. Satellite images of the Archelon Fortress will provide the backdrop for his speech to the world. Such audacity must come from his confidence in this ultimate weapon, Fenrir. There's no such thing as a foolproof plan, I whispered to myself as I watched the sun slowly wheel across the sky overhead. Even the country's hero, still in the heat of battle, hadn't returned home for the celebration of victory. The Southern Cross will ensure Navarro's plan ends in failure. Ain't that right?
until we take out Navarro. What's that light? Watch out! Fenrir's equipped with a special weapon. Damn it! The light keeps following me. What the hell is this? The Killer One suddenly burst into flames. Crap! Scatter now!
There it is! Fenrir! The destruction of Fenrir is the only thing that's going to end this war.
All right, bring it on.
That attack probably came from Fenrir's HPM. Your fuel tank's internal sensors will be displayed on the MPG. The MPG will display any increase in fuel temperature. Watch it closely. Fenrir is equipped with the same type of optical camouflage as the airborne fortress. However, with Aurelia's satellite surveillance system back online, we should be able to track its position. Although the tracking is far from perfect, please bear that in mind when attacking. Try to keep the temperature low.
Griffith 1 bagged another one!
Southern Cross missile hit!
The Southern Cross destroyed Fenrir! Fenrir has amazing capabilities, but it's no match for the Southern Cross's flying.
They're only human. You can take them. Try to maintain a high speed.
Alright, I dodged it!
Damn it, I'm being shot at from nowhere.
This is the first time I've ever seen it! Optical camouflage?
on top of the fortress is moving. That's the same shock cannon that was on the airborne fortress. We can't allow LASAP to remain in possession of that kind of weapon. Do what it takes to destroy the shock cannon. Shock cannon firing preparations complete. Aquila 3, lower your altitude. In 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cannon firing! Aquila 3's been hit! Damn it, we've lost him! Destroy the shock cannon! The shock cannon is preparing to fire.
The fortress has really been destroyed! He was able to fly his way through those shockwaves. Incredible! You've done it, Griffiths 1! I knew our ace could do it. That's the Southern Cross for you. It certainly is. He's Aurelia's hero after all.
Crux to Griffiths 1. That was a little too risky, sir. It made me nervous just watching you. It wouldn't feel like a victory if you weren't there to celebrate it with us, sir. When you think about it, you can't help but feel sorry for LASAF's soldiers. They were nothing but pawns in Navarro's sick game. Well, it's finally over, isn't it? Let's head home. To Aurelia.
Archelon and Diego Navarro's beloved weapon Fenrir were ripped by explosions and engulfed in flames. While these images flashed on the screen, the eyes of the press watched as the enraged citizens of LASAF stormed in on commanding officer Diego Navarro. When the rage of the thousands had finally subsided, it is said that there was nothing left but the shattered remains of Fenrir. It's ironic that the stage for the unveiling of his greatest triumph would be his ultimate undoing. When it was all over, I tried to get an interview with the Southern Cross, only to find that he had already returned to Cape Aubrey.
He said he's never really liked hot weather.
Eugene Solano, the young radio operator, answered sheepishly. Peace had returned to Griswold, and it was now covered in the colors of the Christmas season. I went ahead and bought myself a figure of Santa, the kind that I could only find here.
Albert, I thought you couldn't stand the Southern Hemisphere.
A fellow reporter said to me as he saw the Santa figure, a memento of this Southern Hemisphere of backward seasons. I like the design, I said as I embarrassingly showed it to him. It bore the emblem of the Southern Cross.